Hi, everyone. And for LENSEC Live, what's your perspective? Go to lensec.com/live to catch up with all the episodes. I cannot believe we're very close to 2021. And I'm by myself today. My co-host is doing some family stuff today. And I'm really excited about our guest. And we're going to talk about something really interesting involving video surveillance. That's video analytics. So I'm excited to welcome the program my co-host for today, and also the person I'm interviewing, David Singer. He's the regional sales manager in the Midwest Video Analytics. And I'm going to first ask you to define analytics. I remember when Google Analytics first came out, because I'm kind of a techie guy, and I had even difficulty just spelling analytics, let alone understand analytics. So define analytics for me before we even get to video analytics.
Well, I think the definition I would give is in the video surveillance world, and that is using intelligence to make your system smarter, i.e. to only detect the particular items that you want to detect. And it allows you to apply some very specific parameters to what the system can record, and then in turn what the system produces when you go into search for it. It's about making it more intelligent, making it more efficient, not only systematically, but for the end user as well.
And I think it's important as analytics are what keeps the world going, because if you cannot show certain reports or certain things to people, they're asked, what's the purpose of having this technology, right? Why are we doing the things we're doing? How can you show me why it works well, and to explain it better through analytics?
Well, essentially, before analytics came into the video world, we would be stuck with a long time period of recorded video, and we had to go in and find a particular event. And what that required was forwarding, rewinding, forwarding, rewinding. If you want to go back to the early days, we're talking about video cassette recorders. So some of the first intelligence that took place was the ability to digitally record video. But then one of the first analytics that came into place, actually just basic digital motion detection. And what that was the ability for a system to detect when the pixels in the field of view changed. And it would register as an alarm in the system. And then you could go back and say, first, show me when the system actually detected a motion on this camera during this time. But then you could also go back and say, okay, I'm going to define an area within the field of view that I want you to look for motion, not the whole field of view, but maybe just this door when someone came in and out. And I'm real curious to see what happened from the time I left at the end of the day and the time I came in the morning. So instead of having 12 hours of video, live video to search through, I could go in and say, show me the motion, and in seconds, it would produce just the events that met my criteria, or just those particular motion events. So it took hours of reconnaissance and searching down to minutes and seconds.
And I find that great, because the fact is that you can find things easily and quickly and show a report to somebody, especially if you're in a specific area where you're worried about certain visitors to your place at an odd hour. And really, we're having a lot of disturbances based on specific types of things that are happening at that building. Now you can kind of really look quickly back to that information and see who are the people that you don't really want to be at your operation at this certain time, and be able to view them and understand at the time when that's happening in a matter of seconds instead of hours of searching.
Correct. And then, what's gone on since motion detection came into play many, many years ago is advanced analytics. Now you have artificial intelligence, you have machine learning, you have deep learning going on, and you're able to even further define the parameters that you want to search by when you apply some of these techniques. So as an example, you can take motion detection where, if I'm looking for a particular event in a hallway, and let's say it's a school and it's class changing time, I've got all kinds of motion. But in turn, really, I'm looking for a particular motion, somebody going in a particular direction. I now have the ability through analytics to say, I'm not worried about all these people coming through the door, entering the room. I'm only worried about people leaving the room. And you can now define it. So taking what used to be 12 hours of video down to just a whole series of events, now to just particular events, is what's evolved over the last 10 years.
Well, I'm excited for you to demonstrate how our video analytics works in Perspective VMS. So I know you're going to go ahead and demonstrate that for us today, and I'll have questions throughout, and everyone else has questions. Make sure you go to lensec.com/sales and ask us questions about our product, and we'd be happy to demo it for you.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's important to talk about the types of analytics that we can execute within Perspective VMS. And in turn, how some of them might apply to the business world. Neil, if you have any questions. So we have, probably about 18 or so. I've not counted them. Maybe we'll count them right now. Analytics that we offer. So if you start in the top left, just the intrusion, that's like a virtual line crossing. So all I'm really concerned about in that particular one is when he crosses over the fence. And maybe I can say even directional motion. I only care when he crosses the fence going in a particular direction. You could see some occupancy rates and some area counting. So this comes into play now for COVID-19 and making sure that people are proper distancing and not a lot of people are in a particular area. Hot zone is a real nice retail application. So in a store, you can see where people spend more time than others, what shelves or end caps are attracting more traffic than others. We don't have time to go through all of these, so we'll just point out a few. You have a left object, so if somebody brings something into a room and leaves it, the system does have the ability to detect that someone's brought something in and left it. And conversely, if something leaves the room that should be in the room, we can detect that now. Things like vehicle speed, if a vehicle sits for a long time or maybe is going the wrong way, I can even count vehicles as they go through a particular area. Slips and falls for business practices and operations, that can come into play too. I like this one, smoke and fire, the ability to detect the material coming out of a smokestack when it reaches a certain, serious level, depending on what's coming out. And you'll see a few more here too. In fact, right now, what we're running in our system, and I'll show real quick, is face detection recognition, or in the case of what we're running is actual face mask detection. So in the state of COVID-19, we want to know if somebody enters our facility and they're not wearing a protective face mask. And then additionally, we have the ability to do license plate recognition.
Wow.
So what I'll do now is I will, let me open up our system real quick, and then we'll go into it. In fact, I'm going to share the screen to show how easy it is. In just a second.
Yeah, always those interesting things when you're sharing a screen or doing things in Zoom. We're all getting so programmed in Zoom all the time. But I'm looking forward to seeing the demo and just different ways that you can utilize video analytics through Perspective VMS.
Okay, so I've opened up our client, and this is my default view. But what I'm going to do is go into this particular module under the event panel. This is our behavior module. This event panel is where we have all kinds of events come in, and our analytic events come into this particular area right here. And if I click on it, it opens up the last 10 events. And you can see right now we have a lot of license plate recognition. We have this set up with the vehicle going out the gate. So I get just a quick snapshot of it. I can tag it, which means I can add metadata to it, which allows me to search for that metadata later on. I'll give you a quick example of that in a minute. I can also open this right up in our archives. But again, this only shows the last 10. So what I will do now is I will open this up and do a more extensive search. So I didn't have any face mask detection show up. So I'm going to show you how we go in, and now I can do, right from our side panel, a more extensive search. So what I'm going to look for is a face uncovered event. And I'm going to go back in time. And I'm going to hit filter. So what we detected on this back office camera in our own office are situations where people walk through the frame, the field of view, and they weren't wearing a face mask. So if I click on the individual events, they all show up. Right from here, same thing as in the side panel, I can put a tag on it. So I'm going to put in face uncovered David test. And I have to apply a category. I'll call it suspicious just for demo purposes, and I'll make it public. And I'm going to hit create. I also can open this right up in archives.
Wow.
So if I click open in archives, it's going to go right to that particular event. So from here, and you can see the yellow button down here is where I've actually tagged face uncovered David test. The tag does show up in my tag list, so it allows me to come back and find it later on.
Very
Additionally, if I'm doing something else in the system, I can go up here to our global search and I can type in, let's say, face. And this will show me all the different items that have been tagged, including mine, and I can go right to it. If I were to extract an image and use face mask detection, I can find all the ones associated with face mask detection right here. And I can just double click on it and call it right up.
So then you have a concern, David, that someone is not wearing their mask in the building. You could easily locate that through this software.
That is correct. Now that I found it, I actually could take a picture of it. I could send it in an email right out of Perspective VMS. If someone on the system wants to see the view, I could hit share view and share that view with them, and it would go right to their PC running the Perspective VMS software. I could also take this video and extract it and set it aside. So it would show up in my image extraction list. So again, very simple to go in, find exactly what I was looking for, and then be able to take the information once I have found it and send it to whoever I need to send it to.
Yes.
You'll notice, again, going back in, license plate recognition. So we do the same thing with license plate recognition. I can view it in the archives. I can tag it. What's really nice is going into reports and getting a report of this activity after the fact.
And that's where a lot of people use the word analytics in a lot of ways, David, is just to be able to see the information on paper. So what does this mean to me? How many face masks uncovers events do I get in a week? How many people visit the building on a regular basis? The number of occupants on a bar or certain facility, especially a restaurant, when some restaurants are still able to dine in 25%. All of these things can be done through our software.
And just to give you another example, if there is a particular vehicle maybe I'm looking for, it becomes suspicious. In this report, it gives me the date and time, it gives me the license plate, the color, its confidence percentage, and a couple of snapshots. I want to see more extensively when this car came in and out of this particular area. So I now can go back to this behavior area. I can go to my filter, the exit gate, and the event data. I can put that license plate number in and hit filter. And there's every time as a default in the last 30 days that this car left this gate area. So very simple to find. by applying a license plate recognition analytic, was able to read the license plate, store that metadata in the system. And again, instead of having to do a search of all the cars leaving the gate area, to all the motion of every car leaving the area, to just this particular car, shows you the advancement of analytics and how it applies in a day-to-day world.
And a lot of times we can get a certain analytic, David, also from just creating an event that makes sure that that event will always create an analytic, right? You can do that, correct? So you choose an event that always happens and occurs on a regular basis that you want to put in to add to your analytics features, right?
We're gonna have to.
Does that make sense to you? So what I'll explain it more in detail what I mean. So for example, creating a workflow. You can use creating a workflow so that you can have that analytic every day show up on your report.
Well, the nice thing about workflows is I can assign a workflow to an analytic. So a great example is when we have a face that is not wearing a protective face mask comes into the lobby and the system detects it, we can say, when this occurs, I want this particular action to occur, action, reaction. So face mask uncovered or a face is uncovered, no face mask being worn, send an email out to this particular person. Or every time I have somebody go out that exit gate, I want a pop-up video so I can in turn watch the car leaving. So the system detects the motion and I have a pop-up in my system. And not only does it obviously register because of the analytic, but then the system shows me that car leaving, and it's just an extra piece of security. I want to make sure maybe nobody comes in from the street and tries to jump into the parking lot before the gate closes. So it allows me to do that live surveillance, make sure the gate closes, then I can close that window.
And then back to the simple old stuff that you talked about at the beginning in the history, video analytics also will do the motion. So motion on the camera, you can have analytics based on that too, correct? Where how many times when you're usually certain things when there's motion, we can search through our fast find feature or go into our archive and find times when there was motion on those cameras.
So just going into the archives, and I'm going to take this down to a single camera mode. And we'll go with just the front lobby camera. So this camera is recording on motion, and down here in the timeline below, and this is just the timeline as a default setting that I have by my login. I show a 6-hour interval beginning at 6 in the morning. So all of these blue dots are motion events. So instead of recording this entire 6-hour period, you can see because of COVID-19, we don't have a lot of people in the office. But it allows me to go in, and you notice when I hover over it, it actually pops up and shows me a thumbnail. And I can click on it and go right to that particular event. So in this case, this is our one employee who's in the office. He was walking in. So it's,
and then it's
just able to find.
So basically, any of those motions can end up on our side panel as well as times when there was motion, especially if you're trying to look for that type of analytic.
So that would be an actual camera event is how we would qualify that. So again, Perspective VMS works the same way. I can hit the particular area within the side panel and it shows me the last 10. But I can open it up to do a more extensive search. Just open up my filters. If I want to look at a particular camera, I want to know when motion was detected on my front entrance. And we'll say from the time I left Friday or middle of the afternoon till today. So show me. And here are all of the various motion events during that time.
So many different ways you can show video analytics, David, through Perspective VMS, different types of events and different things, and get those analytics based on that. And it depends on the vertical market too, right? If it's healthcare, you're going to be looking for different things than you're looking at in education or oil and gas or transportation, whatever type of vertical we're talking about, correct?
Correct. And again, going back to that list that I showed earlier, in fact, I can show it again, different types of analytics to fit different types of applications. So, you mentioned oil and gas. Smoke and fire would be a very good analytic for that particular vertical, but you don't see that working in the retail world. But you can detect when shelf space is empty, which is a common occurrence in these days with the pandemic. Again, thermal heat mapping, parking lot analytics, and getting into things like object detection when you get into more significant or more serious security areas. You want to know when people are loitering in an area, et cetera. So literally, lots of different analytics for different types of applications. And these are just the ones that we actually have the ability to deliver through our software already built in through licensing. But we also have the ability to bring in any edge analytics. So edge analytics I'll define in two ways. One would be camera-based analytics. Two would be server-side or software-based analytics. Through a third-party software integration. So you have a lot of camera manufacturers now that are putting advanced analytics into their cameras. So we have the ability to use the analytics that are built into the cameras and deliver it into Perspective VMS as that particular alarm already, instead of relying on Perspective VMS to do the actual detection for you. And then there are many software platforms out there as well. And what's nice about that is you have the ability to customize the right software platform, doing the right analytic, because again, you're just looking at what we offer. Well, there's probably 10 to 20 times more analytics out there depending on your vertical. So there are some very specific analytics that are software type analytics that you have the ability to run on a server parallel to Perspective VMS. And we have the potential to integrate it in to, again, do recording or producing of events by that analytic alarm or that analytic event.
Very nice. Anything else you'd like to add regarding video analytics today?
Well, the only thing that I would add in is that it's a very customized type application. So be sure to consult your regional sales manager, your integrator, whoever it might be. And again, the nice thing about being in an open platform environment is it gives you the freedom and the flexibility to just create the system that you need to create to produce just the results that you need to be able to see or filter through. So
fabulous. All right. Well, that was a great information for sure, David. I really liked the topic, and especially because analytics get really cool, and it was really cool to see certain things that you're able to do. But the goal of video analytics with Perspective VMS and any type of video analytic is to keep your building facilities secure and safe from health concerns to some sort of violent concerns to just basically making sure that you have order to your building. That's what Perspective VMS can bring to the table with LENSEC.
Making your system intelligent instead of just recording.
Exactly. So everyone, again, thank you, David, for stopping by. And I know you can go to lensec.com/sales, check out and schedule a demo with David today. And also everyone needs to go back to lensec.com/live to check out all the different live episodes. Make sure you like and share this video with everyone, and appreciate everything, and everyone have a happy holidays. And I think we have one more show before the new year. Wow. I can't believe it. 2021 is coming soon. And I really enjoyed learning some of this information. And what's so nice about the software is it's very easy to use. It's not difficult. And David shows how, as an expert, how to utilize this software, but you too can do it very easily. It's not cumbersome. You can go from one system to the next very easily. And our team at LENSEC could train you very easily to use our system.
Okay, we're all here, hands-on, ready to help. And I will say, maybe I shouldn't, I learned how to use the software through our online training videos. So I really didn't learn it through a training class. You can learn it too. It's all online for you.
Exactly. So go ahead and check all the different things and all the great information at lensec.com. And also you can use our chatbot, Lenny, if you have questions for either sales or support. So appreciate, David, you stopping by, and what a great, what's your perspective. So thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you, Neil.
All right, guys, that was What's Your Perspective. Take care.